There's a marvellous game where Scotland's its home, and it's a game that is truly unique. I know it takes out of your life, it gets you away from your husband or wife for at least 4 or 5 hours every week. Now it's basically simple. You hit a wee ball with dimples with some clubs that you keep in a bag with the ultimate goal to get the ball into a hole that sits at the foot of a flag. But that's where the simplicity ends, because as you all know, my friends, it's a game that can drive you demented. I mean, just when you've thought that you've played a great shot, next thing, you're wishing it had not been invented.
Let's get started.
So welcome to the 1457 podcast with me, Stevie. Just as a reminder, this podcast, what's it about? Well, it's about golf in Scotland, the birthplace of a sport. And Scotland, where golf began, well, that's a dynamic digital platform inspiring golfers near and far with its photography, its wonderful short films, its insightful stories, and now a brilliant podcast. We want to showcase the very best in golf, both through our own experiences as golfers or as working in the industry, and also with guests. And today we are joined by Andy Sullivan, who is the average golfer. Hello, Andy. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm very well, thank you. Not too bad.
Pleasure. And before we get to talking to Andy, let me introduce my regular co-hosts, Dave Kerr. Dave, tell everyone about yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Dave Kerr, and I own and run a golf travel company based in Edinburgh called Morton Golf. And we won the Scottish Inbound Golf Tour Operator of the Year Awards at the 2020 World Golf Awards last year, which was great news.
And I'm also joined by Malcolm Duck. Malcolm, introduce yourself to those very few people who don't know who you are.
Well, Dave wins the award for everything, and we get a lot of his guests. He's a brilliant tour operator. Thanks for all the messages you send to Scotland and bring in, young man. Malcolm Duck, former Royal Marine, Pride of the Queen, friend of Owen, and all that kind of stuff. Run Ducks in Aberlady, where golf started a long time ago in East Lothian. We wine them, we dine them, we sleep them, we wake them up, we send them to the golf course, and then we do it all over again with a smile and create memories, mostly good ones.
Andy, you are the average golfer.
Yes.
Would you describe yourself as a golf blogger, a vlogger? Would that be a fair description?
Yeah, I think probably a vlogger, as our content is predominantly video content.
Right.
The kind of my platform is pretty much YouTube, but the idea of calling yourself a YouTuber at 51 is not 51 years of age. That is, I'm not always comfortable with that. So I get embarrassed sometimes when people ask me what it is I do. Videographer is the kind of title that I like.
All right, fair enough. Videographer, a golf.
You can call me whatever you want, by the way. But for me, that's that's.
And how long have you been doing the average golfer?
Well, I think there's sort of two answers. Seriously, for the last maybe 2.5 years, but I think maybe 5 years is when it sort of started.
Right.
The kind of the whole average golfer. I think brand's the wrong thing, but under that umbrella, yeah.
And so when you started it, would you say then 2.5 years ago was when it became a job for you? Is that what you're kind of mean?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And what did you do before you did that as a job?
I've owned other businesses for the last sort of 30 years. So been my sort of background, very much I've been a golfer since I was sort of 14 or 15. I've always been very much average, but I've always kind of like a real affection for the game and involved at kind of club level for a number of years. And then 5 years ago, I got involved in a little bit of a job role, and it kind of snowballed into where we are today, which is...
Did you not play on tour, Andy?
Yeah. One of us did, not me, but believe me, I've been in some very embarrassing situations where they've been expecting a different Andy Sullivan. And honestly, I had once near your neck of the woods at North Berwick, the whole of the old boys section came out to the first tee because they'd seen Andy Sullivan was on the start sheet. And they were all so disappointed and made it known as well that that I turned up instead. And
did they watch? Did they wait to watch your shot?
Yeah, then they soon realised it wasn't the Andy Sullivan tour professional yet. So yeah, I've had a few issues with that.
You've been on the first tee with quite a lot of famous people, haven't you?
I have. No, literally a week or so ago. Yeah, I was as well. I was with Alasabel. I played golf with. I mean, that's the kind of. The weird thing about all of this is where it's sort of gone from and to is a bit of a strange story. And to be playing with a 2-time Masters champion a week ago was probably, again, one of those surreal moments.
Whereabouts did you play with them?
I was in a resort in Greece called Costa Navarino.
Yeah.
He's just designed They finished the building of 2 courses that he designed, and they open in February of next year. So I got to play golf with him on one of those 2 courses, and
Fantastic.
interview him later, yeah.
Did he give you a chipping lesson? Sorry, Dave. Did he give you a chipping lesson? Because he's
No,
obviously the best chipper that's ever lived, isn't he?
Yeah, he didn't get involved in sort of your game so much, but he was really helpful. He sort of reading lines on greens and sort of pointing out the layout of the course, because we'd never played it before. And I've watched him on TV, and he seems to be a really nice fella, but obviously that's not always the case in real life. And he was brilliant. Yeah, so nice. Yeah,
this podcast is all about Scotland and Scotland's golf, and what we want to focus in on with you is that you did a series on your sort of platform around Scotland's less obvious. I think Dave had a question he wanted to ask you around that.
Well, just really, Andy, I suppose the best place to start is probably just around what the thinking behind that was. What led you to this concept of Scotland's less obvious?
Yeah, my sort of affection towards Scotland probably started about 10 years ago, and oddly enough, it was in East Lothian at Malcolm's gaff, to be honest with you. When this thing got a bit more serious and we started producing some content that was based around golf courses, a conversation with Jamie about this idea, and Malcolm and Alan. And we were looking at packaging this kind of series, and I said, well, maybe we don't look at the kind of everybody looks at the kind of, these prestigious courses. We're all familiar with them. The idea of looking at sort of maybe the next tier down that are slightly overlooked but are really, really good golf courses in their own right, and often sit in the same neighbourhood as some quality tracks. So that was the idea. Could we showcase some of those other courses that perhaps don't get the limelight they deserve?
It was really collaborative, wasn't it? Because
very much so,
all of us kind of chipping in. And I think I remember, as you say, you kind of 2 parts to how you started off, because I remember saying to Jamie, have a look at Andy Sullivan and stuff, and he went, I'm not sure, and then I'll have a look at that one, and that's when you just changed what you were doing.
I did,
and he was gobsmacked, blown away. And so under the banner of Scotland Where Golf Began is where one of our second series doing that.
Yes, no, you're exactly right. I mean, we used to I think we sent yourself and Jamie a couple of ideas of what we thought we had the potential to do in terms of filming on golf courses, step it up a bit of a level. And that's what we started. And we're now, I think we're probably at 44 courses we did over the last 18 months that we filmed at with Where Golf Began, which has been phenomenal.
It's easy to do content at, the kind of marquee courses, but there are so many amazing golf courses around Scotland. And again, the list that you've played at there's some absolute gems on there.
There really is.
And it would be difficult for me to ask you to pick some out, but are there any that particularly stick in your mind as ones that maybe you hadn't heard of at all before? Yeah, and maybe they just surprised you and
absolutely. Because I was really worried about anything like this, because if I meet people and they say you did all these courses, where was great, and I've got a mind that can't remember where I played yesterday half the time, so I do struggle. But I always answer the question with exactly the same, and I played at a course called Bonner Bridge we were up in the Highlands, and we were staying in Dornoch, and I was looking at Royal Dornoch for 4 or 5 days, and we were not playing there. We went to other courses in the area, and one of them was Bonner Bridge. And we drove up to the car park. There was one car in the car park, a small sort of almost, I don't know whether you've been there, but it's almost like a small garage in terms of the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. And I played the first tee shot. And I think it's fair to say it's not a great opening hole. Played the first tee shot, and I sort of said, my God, what am I doing here? This is bloody terrible. And I was thinking, exactly how are we going to make this look good? And then you get to the second tee, and there's I don't know the name of it. There's a lock on the left-hand side, all kinds of heather that starts to open up, tree-lined fairways. It's only a 9-hole course. It was absolutely stunning and very much idyllic in terms of you play in and amongst the trees. You don't see anybody. I think they've got one green staff, a lady greenkeeper, who again are just on a dog. And I just that place, that's the one that really sticks in my mind. That's not spectacular, but I enjoyed every minute. I could have played there all day, every day.
I'm looking at your list there, and I managed to count from the list of that series. I played 13 of them, but one of them that stands out for me was Boat of Garton. What did you think of that?
I love Boat of Garton, and I think that the reason that what I found difficult about Boultergarten was the fairways. When you say rolling fairways, they're literally up and down.
It's like,
And, unbelievable, like a roller coaster at times. And all I can remember is complaining the odd shot that sort of bounced off left or right. That was, but it's again so picturesque and in a gorgeous part of the country as well.
yeah, and do you know what? It's because there's a couple there that are near to each other as well. So Fraserburgh and Arbroath, and I think
Yes.
two of them, those two are two links courses that are very much in the vein of Western Gales, Royal Aberdeen, but they don't ever get the same kudos because they kind of remind me of even just the way it's laid out, and you start out and you go out to the sea and along the sea. But
well, again, Fraserburgh would be one of the ones that's really friendly. In terms, I think when I say that, every clubhouse we've been to has been very welcoming in what we did. But Fraserburgh, we had a real laugh when we arrived there. And when you play again, you play up the first, and then when you get to the second tee, I think it is, or is it the third tee? Everything opens up in amongst the dunes and breathtaking stuff. Loved it.
There's a great wee 9-hole course, another one in Arbroath, but it's right beside the Rage and the Commander unit, so it's quite hard to play. It's quite dangerous to play because sometimes you keep quite low when you're hitting your shots and the range is active.
Yeah.
You should maybe do that one, Andy. One of the best whiskey collections in Scotland.
Really?
With the best as well.
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
Well, I think there's some there that are right next. I think there's so many great these kind of second tier of golf courses in Scotland that are right next to the tier one stuff. So they're enjoying the same turf, the same kind of the dunescape. Maybe I'm thinking you've got Barassi and Prestwick St Nicholas on there. You know, obviously they're very, very close to perhaps more illustrious neighbours and Prestwick and Troon and what have you. But you know, that's two amazing golf courses, Barassi and Prestwick St Nicholas is there. You know, so
and again, incredible stories that to be told of all of them. I think that was the other thing we were trying to do as well, was maybe just not go too much into the historical context of the World Cup, but they've got great stories. So to relay some of that and where they've sat in the sort of history of Scottish golf was also, I found it particularly interesting as well.
It's slightly dripping off the walls somewhere like Panmure, so that's on your list as well. And you know, the history they've got with Ben Hogan and his time spent there before he played in Carnoustie Open. And it's what a place. It's just it's an amazing place.
It's one of the principles behind what we're trying to do with Scotland Where Golf Began, is to spread the love of golf right through Scotland, not just the big course, it's the wee one. And that's what I really love about the series we've done that with you, Andy, because that was birthed out of lockdown and all the troubles of lockdown coming out. You remember we tried to get going, couldn't get going, got closed down, open, got closed down. So it's just great. I think what about the welcome when you got to different places? How did you find that?
I've always found, again, I mean, I'm speaking to three Scots, so I can't really say that we were, what
are you saying, mate? What are you saying?
Yeah. But I genuinely, everywhere we've gone, and it has been really, really friendly. Well, I think that there's a big thing is that if compared to, I live in Wales, and golf is not, it's not an industry. It's not a tourist trade as such. And what you worry about, I think, sometimes is when you go into the sort of, are people making the effort because it's, it's a false welcome, if you like, because it's a tourist industry. You don't get that feeling whatsoever. It's a very genuine wanting you to be there. The love for golf is obviously, it's pretty much ingrained in everybody that's, it seems to be ingrained in every Scot I've met, to be honest with you, but the love for the game is massive up there. And that's one of the things that I really like when you get there. It's you're with a lot of like-minded people.
Like the three of us, definitely.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Malcolm, you want to talk about one thing that's maybe slightly more important than golf, and that's whiskey, I believe.
Well, I mean, Andy and I have drank a glass of whiskey together, and I've just about got him trained. But now, can you remember how to taste whiskey? Remember what to do with it? Wee bit of.
Oh, has he got one on there?
Whiskey's got whiskey there. So wonderful. But you smell it, and you put the wee cap over the top, and you roll around and smell, and on you go. So, what's your favourite whiskey, Andy?
Well, this is. I literally thought we'd seen as we're doing what we're doing, then it's only right that I pour a whiskey out, and it's that Glenfarclas.
Which year?
This is 21. It's a bit of a decent.
Yeah,
drink,
he's wrong. It's Glenfarclas 15. It's only that I haven't gotten to it. It's Glenfarclas 15. It's the best whiskey. How many times have I tried to make you understand that? No, but, I mean, whiskey featured in the trip quite a bit, and it's a lot of golf magazine. It's golf course. So I think people will come in away. It's not just the golf course; it's the golf, it's the people, it's the whiskey. So tell us a wee bit some of the whiskey places you got to.
Well, that whole sort of Murray Speyside region is obviously, again, when I got up there, I didn't quite, although we'd done a bit of research on the place, I didn't quite realize just how many distilleries were in that area. And it's literally, I don't know, is it Dufton, where there's kind of, I don't know, 7, 8 distilleries in so many miles or whatever. I visited Glenfarclas, which again was just a great story about being still in family owned, and it's 7th generation, I think it is, or something like that. And I love the story there. We visited Glen Murray Distillery as well. And then again, we did quite a bit of whiskey tasting in Murray Golf Club as well, which after the video had finished, it carried on for a little bit longer.
I've got to tell you a wee story about Murray Golf Club, because that's beside the Air Force Base, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
So we, in my Royal Marine days, had to do a tactical evaluation, help the RAF with that. So that's the kind of beat up to see whether they can defend themselves with the baddies. So we went up about 2 weeks before with one of the boys who's one of the top locksmiths in the world now. And we broke in and nicked all these passes and all sorts and some ID cards. So the boys worked out which officers looked like them, went and kidnapped them, dressed up as them, and walking around the camp getting the RAF guys to salute and bullet them. We had to stop it because the RAF don't salute terribly much. Great fun. So that was some of these naughty stories from Royal Marine days. A quick aside. But that's a cracking area up there.
You're not going to suddenly disappear now, Malcolm, for sharing that information.
I tell you, they couldn't get it. They had this radio thing that was all fenced off. And they said no one's ever got in there. I think we're in there in under a minute and a half.
Brilliant.
The funniest weeks I've had. I got a bit of trouble for that, but it was fine. Some things is worth it.
Sorry, I was just a quick question, Andy. So, just thinking about this from, I I've watched your videos and I've watched vlogging videos about golf courses. You know, what does it take to do it? Tell us a little bit about what it takes to sort of make that video. You know, how long it takes, how much you actually get to play golf.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of myth, is that everybody. I don't play any sort of regular golf in a golf club anymore, but my old sort of friends who I'd play golf with, you must be brilliant at golf nowadays. I'm actually probably a lot worse, to be honest with you, because I play very little proper golf. I very rarely play 18 holes of golf. I always either walk or drive if we're in a buggy, the full 18 holes. And we kind of recce the whole place first of all. And then we're looking to pick locations, or backdrops rather, that we can film that sort of, we always want to show the golf course off and its best parts, if you like. Not necessarily, you're not necessarily going to hide things, but you want to show the sort of great backdrops that they've got and what really that golf course is all about. So we might set up on a situation that if there's a real nice something or other going on, we might set up for sort of 20 minutes, whether it's a bit of drone footage. So it takes a while. We end up with about a 15-minute video, and we're probably there for sort of 5-6 hours to try and get that footage right. And we've also got it wrong on many occasions as well. It hasn't quite gone to plan.
But you've got to keep up with pace of play as well, too, and that can be trying to work with the golf course to try and get a couple of slots either side, or get the golf course to let people understand what you're doing, so you're not getting. Yeah,
I think the first year or the first season that we did it, we were all kind of a bit new to it. We played in. I actually filmed in a better ball roll up on a Wednesday afternoon in Octorada. And I said we take 5 or 6 hours. We went round in 2 hours, 40 minutes, 18 holes, trying to keep up with these kind of two balls. It was rather, not better ball, 2 balls. And that was an absolute challenge. But this year, I think we've understood that that's almost impossible. We've left tee times behind us and give us, and again, the courses are very accommodating as well. The understanding what we do a little bit better. And I think we also understand a bit better as well.
Just when you mentioned drone footage and what have you there as well, Andy, there must be some days when you turn up and it's just not the right light. The weather's a bit poor.
Yeah.
How do you kind of deal with that? Those kind of challenges that you don't have any control over, right? Those things just are going to happen either way, right? So
no, it's a really good question, and I think that in all the 44 courses we've done, I think we've always managed to produce something of a reasonable quality. They're probably all not as good because of the light, but I think you've just got to make the best of the situation. And the fact that the reality is, and I think that, to be fair to the team at Where Golf Began, they've always said, look, it's reality. It does rain.
No, come on. It never rains on a Scottish golf course.
It doesn't.
I'll take issue with that.
Scottish golf course, the wet coast for Jamie has got that's awful.
Yeah, not in East Lothian, of course. But so we just do our best with it. I mean, I can't think of a time when again, Murray Golf Club, which was one of the last courses we did at the end of September. The start to the first 9 was horrendous. It continually rained, and then we just did our bit on the back nine, and I made it work somehow. So it's always found a way of getting it done. But again, the trips that we organised, we learned from the first year. We extended the time we were in the region to give us a few down days in case things went wrong and we had to reschedule. So again, we played Crieff 7 o'clock in the morning one day, couldn't see nothing in front of you in terms of fog. They said it would lift within half an hour, and sort of 2 hours later, we still couldn't see nothing. So we went off to Pitlochry, filmed at Pitlochry, and came back to Crieff and finished about 8 o'clock at night and did the 2 courses in the one day. You know, it was glorious sunshine, by the way, at Crieff by the time we'd finished in the evening. So, yeah, it's a challenge at times, but obviously you just got to try and work around the what you've got.
Do you mind the poem? Remember when you came up?
Just
going into what Dave was saying. I remember you filmed in 2-3 different places in one day, and then the other bits to make it work. But when Andy came up, it'd been locked down. People had been locked up and getting out. There's a pal of mine, Eric Davidson, who's a great poet, and he does a thing at the Fringe. Go see him. Wonderful guy. Go look at his website. So got to know Andy really well, but I knew him reasonably then, but not as well as I know him now. And Eric's a great pal. So we've got these 2 guys who are good at what they do, and they come up. Should we work with each other? There was a gentle yes because they're polite to me, and there was just kind of Mexican standoff around the bar as we went. And eventually said to Eric, "Come on, off you go." And maybe with the poem you'll get a wee chance to hear it at the end, because it was watched a lot, which was great. But it starts off, and it's really great for Scotland where golf began. There's a marvellous game where Scotland's its hame, and the game that's simply unique. So that's just a great opening line. Andy cut it in 2 over the first couple of films, and then just a couple of other verses. You've got the bug, even though you look like a mug, and the golfing world knows that you're crap.
Yeah.
And the other bit, the kind of camaraderie. It's not the shots that you take, it's the friends that you make, the camaraderie with your fellow man. And I think it's really interesting that day, because Eric did it first time after having not 6 months he hadn't done it, probably rehearsing his head all the way through. He did it word perfect. Yeah. And we were kind of thinking, and he said, "Shall I do it again?" We said, "Yes," quite quickly. And he did it again, but the version you see now, second take, word perfect, timing immaculate.
Yeah, on camera as well. I mean, it's not just an audio thing, was it? It was in front of camera. It was really, done and dusted, and it was brilliant. And it made those, they were the first 3 videos that we did for the Scotland Where Golf Began. And I think it gave us a real good starting point. And he did a great job.
Yeah, it does at times look like he's about to spill that pint. It's the Scotsman in me. The Scotsman in me's going, "Don't you waste any beer."
Yeah.
Waste any beer.
No, he didn't. He didn't waste any.
So, I mean, how many people going back to the filming? You've got a big camera crew, haven't you?
Yes, huge. Yeah. We have my wife on the camera. Yeah, it's that's more challenging than the weather in Scotland. Let me tell you. No, she doesn't play golf. No.
I had some interesting times going around with them. I took my big camera to do bits and bobs. So it's it was the dynamic between a husband and a wife working and filming. I tell you what you guys come up with is brilliant. The other thing I think people don't maybe understand is they do the filming and come back in, and the hours they sit at the bar, not that we drink, but editing, watching film, hour after hour after hour. These guys, all of them, they put a huge amount of work in straight after filming to check they got it right. Do we have to go back tomorrow and do the rest of it?
That's right. It
doesn't just happen.
Yeah, no, that's quite right. No, she, in all fairness to her, I mean, it's something that she's done a great job. And like me in front of camera and her behind camera, you're constantly learning and trying to make it, improve. And I think even maybe from the first series to the second series, we probably got a little bit better along the way,
Have you played any competitive golf on your trips? Maybe thinking about Gullum, but
do you mean my Hickory challenge?
You can guess who won that.
Yeah, I think can you edit that bit out? It's
well, exactly, and trust Malcolm to bring up a story where it benefits him.
Yeah,
Malcolm, this is about Andy. It's not about you, mate.
Yeah.
You can mute Malcolm though, Stevie. We just let Andy tell the story.
I can edit him completely out, mate. Don't worry about that.
But you quite enjoyed the Hickory. You hit Hickory a wee bit that day.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think we'd done it. I filmed something the previous year, if you remember, with Boris.
Boris, that's right, yeah.
And we played at Kilspindy, and I really enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy getting beat on that par 3 challenge, where I think you thinned one off the bottom groove and managed to get it close.
Yeah, I was just.
That's how I remember it. Yeah.
You're correct, accurate.
Yeah.
But all these courses we're playing, they're all built for hickories. I mean, that's part of the reason I bring up the hickory is that's where they were designed to play. So,
did you play Gullen too with hickories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be a
Well, it was only one hole. There was only one
just
hole.
one hole, right?
Oh,
Which hole did you play?
And then a couple of that was the
par 3
down the hill.
12th, is it? Yeah,
12,
par 3, yeah.
Par 3 down the hill.
I think it's a decent
yeah.
It's 200 yards.
Yeah.
Malcolm made 3, I made 4. But I went in the bunker.
Didn't need to tell us that, Andy.
Yeah, I know.
I think I might have lost my first bowl though, so maybe it was a bit of a cheat. But, now everyone's being nice to each other.
Since you finished the second series, then Andy, I'm sure on social media and elsewhere and on YouTube, there'll be lots of people throwing other courses at you. Oh, how did you miss this one? Why did you not play there? Have you got a third list of things that you'd like to come and do again?
No, I mean, there is a lot. I mean, first of all, I love the fact that we get such a good engagement and interaction with the people that watch. So that's key for us as well. And I assume for Scotland Where Golf Began as well, because, we can see the interest there from the people that get involved. And yes, the problem is that we film somewhere, and by the time we've edited it and put it out, it's generally 4 weeks later. And everybody assumes you've played golf that day and you put the video out tonight. Honestly, and they say, "Why didn't you tell me you were coming? I've just played there." And they all invite me to play at their course. So I haven't got a list as such, but if I went through the comments, there's plenty of people that have said, you should come here, you should come there. I love the idea of what we did in the last 2 years is that the team at Scotland Where Golf Began came up with the list. And if I'm honest with you, on some of them, I'd never heard of them. I'd certainly never played them. So it's great to get a sort of first person's experience with no prior knowledge. And there was a few on there that I would have known, obviously, but there was no wish list as such. It was just send me wherever you know better than I do. I
think for us as well, it's good working with someone that you can trust. So it's not anyone's particular idea. We commission it to happen. But I think the more you get up and play them, you're probably playing more than some of us have played them now. So the next series, the next thing, it's getting the next idea and making the next one happen.
I feel that I've done quite a few Scottish golf courses.
You give me a hard time about playing golf.
Well,
really?
Yeah, but there's a couple on that list that I've not been fortunate enough to play. It's certainly Port Patrick is one that's on my list.
Yeah,
definitely. Millport is another one I've heard about but never been to yet. Stonehaven, I've not played there either, actually.
No, I've not played that either.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the sort of Stonehaven Tane is one I've not played. Which
Tane, I love Tane.
And then now I want to play Bonner Bridge after what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just that was so good. But the Tane thing again, the Tane and the whiskey is that I arrived on I can't remember what day, but we were playing in the morning. I've got a feeling it was a Sunday morning, and they had a gathering of some kind of thing they celebrated every year. And when I arrived there was a tray of 24 whiskey glasses, nothing in them at that stage.
Just for you. Yeah.
And I sort of inquired, what's with the whiskey glasses? Oh, we do this and we all have a drink along the way. And so, would you like one? I said, no, we're working. Anyway, I was halfway down to the first tee and I changed my mind and I walked back and I said, you know what? I think I must have muttered to the wife, would you mind driving? And I walked back and I think we had 2 before we kicked off, and I hit one of the best tee shots I've hit on throughout the series, to be fair.
I mean, but when you get round there out towards the bay, you can literally smell the Glenmorangie coming back.
Yeah,
over,
right.
And for everybody, it's Morangie, like orange, not Morangie. Orange.
Don't be a whiskey snob. Whiskey snobs.
That's just not a snob. That's just.
I think we'll do a special podcast around pronunciation of whiskies. Been a habit.
Yeah, I've never played Arbroath. All the time I've spent in 4-5 come on.
Oh, it's great. I like Arbroath.
Yeah,
good fun.
I must go and do that.
So there's a par 3 around there somewhere, isn't there, as well, the next hole? But again, the good thing the thing that I enjoyed is kind of Arbroath Smokies again is the one thing I'll remember about Arbroath, because we walked into the town or city, wherever it is, and I was determined to try and video me trying them. And then when I bought them and unwrapped them, I was like, my God, what the heck is that? And with the cameras, the cameras rolling, and I'm thinking, don't balk on camera. But Thank God I loved them. But yeah, I didn't like the look of them, but they tasted fantastic. So all those kind of experiences have been brilliant.
We had a client a few years ago, took him on a detour, and he went and bought a row of smokies,
Yeah.
and he then sat and ate eight.
Oh
eight,
yeah, I can imagine. They're so nice. That's a bit few too many for me, but yeah, really.
Right, I'm
really
going to
nice.
have the final question for you, Andy. So, what is next for the average golfer? What are you doing next?
Well, I'm hoping that again, in terms of Scotland, we will certainly be looking, I think, at another project again next year. What that will be, I don't know. For me, on a personal level, in terms of what we do with the channel, it's I think more in line with the travel content. We do a lot of things on the channel, which is around sort of product reviews and all those kind of things. But for me, what I love to do is I love to film golf courses, and just the kind of the general landscape is the bit that I really get the enjoyment from. So I think next year, we've just talked about it in the last few days, fingers crossed, everything we're allowed to, we'll probably do a little bit more traveling than we even did this year, and film on some more golf courses, I think.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us. We've really enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me.
And as usual, if you want to check out more about Scotland Where Golf Began, you can go to our website, www.scotlandwheregolfbegan. We're on social at Where Golf Began. You can email us at info@scotlandwheregolfbegan.com. And actually, Andy, where can people check you out?
Okay, so the YouTube channel is The Average Golfer, and my social channels are Average Golfer 99. So that's the same for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Average Golfer 99.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, mate. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Bye now.
Thanks, Andy.
There's a marvellous game where Scotland's its home, and it's a game that is truly unique. I know it takes out of your life, it gets you away from your husband or wife for at least 4 or 5 hours every week. Now it's basically simple. You hit a wee ball with dimples with some clubs that you keep in a bag, with the ultimate goal to get the ball into a hole that sits at the foot of a flag. But that's where the simplicity ends, because as you all know, my friends, it's a game that can drive you demented. I mean, just when you've thought that you've played a great shot, next thing, you're wishing it had not been invented. For example, you feel such alive when you've played a great drive and you've hit the ball square in the face. Oh, with golf, you feel smitten until you discover you're sitting in that divot that's not been replaced, or you hit a lovely wee wedge or a nasty wee hedge, but you're in a bunker, and it's then you remember you've been in the Saint Mare and a French Legionnaire. In fact, you're an honorary member. But the thing is, to you, it doesn't matter if a dozen shots later you're trying to get out of that trap, because you see, you've got the bug, even though you look like a mug, and the golfing world knows that you're crap. So what do? Well, you pay for some lessons, psychology sessions. You're determined to get yourself better. Pay 400 quid for a driver. Play with balls worth a fiver. Wear the top of the range Pringles sweater. You know who you are. You even take the decision to get Sky Television so you can sit and watch all the golf channels. You've even sued for divorce because you notice out in the course your husband or wife burnt a hole in your flannels. Meanwhile, your mates are convinced that your head's full of mince. You're now the biggest bore they've ever met. The thing is, it's sad but yet true, there are dozens like you who, when playing the game, tend to forget that golf's not about fancy waterproof suits or spending fortunes improving your game. If you win or get beat to success or defeat, it's about being able to treat them the same. It's not the shots that you take, it's the friends that you make, the camaraderie with your fellow man. So be it wind, rain or sun, just go out, have fun, enjoy your game while you still can. So all you golfers out there who throw your clubs in the air and are continually losing the head, if you want a quiet life and keep in with your husband or wife, stay in and do the dishes instead. Enjoy your golf.